Hey everybody, it's Warboss Fitz. This is the first game with the new game system that they have put out that I played, and what you're going to see in this video is me stumbling through the rules. And when I first recorded this, I went through all of the rules, seeing what changes between regular Age of Fantasy and Age of Fantasy Quest. That ended up being about an hour and a half long. Now, I didn't want to edit that, and I know you don't want to watch that because the whole first 45 minutes was really dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that all out. And what you're going to see is me stumble through the rules, figure stuff out as I go. And then towards the end, the game starts to get really intense. So I just wanted to pop in the front and just give an explanation because some of the rules I'm going to miss. I know I missed them. They'll be corrected later. But this is me just going through on a first shot. So remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment. And then Editor Warboss is going to stop and just let you watch the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Warboss Fitz channel. I was on vacation last week, and while I was out of town, One Page Rules decided that they were going to release a whole new game on me called Age of Fantasy Quest. Now, as you can see, these are the beta rules. I messed around a little bit while I was on vacation on the Army Forge app. So what I've done here is I've printed off everything you can get free from the website. We got the core rules there, and we got the quick start guide here, and we're going to run through a mission. So what do you need for Age of Fantasy Quest? You need a party of heroes. And so on my trip, I was able to jump into a game store right before I made it to the airport and picked up these classic GW minis. And what we've done is we have one-page rules-ified them. First up here on the corner, we have Frank. Frank is a human empire battlemaster paladin. Then we have John, who is a human empire battlemaster fighter. We have Mary, who is a Kingdom of Angels champion cleric. And Abby, who is a Kingdom of Angels abyss wizard. And then they need something to fight. And just because we haven't seen them in a while, I thought I would get out our underpants gnome goblin army. So this is essentially what would be two waves of level 1 for the heroes that we have. We have two groups of 3 warrior goblins with spears and a group of shooters with short bows. And then we have two groups of 3 beast riders with lances. Everyone is from the Cave Clan, so everybody is furious. And then we got a big old box of gnomes as well in case we need more later. So that is quite literally as far as I've gotten with this. Okay guys, this is where you're going to start to see a bunch of jumps as I edit out things that don't really make a good YouTube video. I'm going to leave in some key points that are needed to make stuff make sense later. Alright, that should do it. We got a lot of open areas, but yeah, we'll run with that. This is just going to be a one-shot, just so we can learn how this works. On a side note, I played D&D last night with some friends, and my dice decided that I should die last night, so I was ripped in half by a Wendigo. Hopefully, that doesn't happen today. All my bad luck went there. Let's go over to the battlefield, and let's choose what does what. All right, over here on the battlefield, let's say that the green spots are going to be difficult terrain, and these are going to be difficult terrain. You can get on them. The hedgerows will be impassable. So we got a couple hedgerows out there. That'll just be difficult, and yeah, you can go in there. And then cover is going to be, in case anything is obscured. We've chosen difficulty 1 for this mission, so that's beginner. Each step must be followed in this order, and once all steps have been completed, you start from the first again. Okay, we roll for a random primary objective. Let's see what we get. We get a 6. Delivery. Place 2 delivery markers within 6 inches of 2 different random table corners. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. Deployment and challenge hazards. Okay, enemy deployment before the mission starts. Deploy wave of enemy units as sentries. 6 inches that corner. All right, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move over to the board. All right, so here we are. We got to deploy 2 in random table corners. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to be our quarters. So we got 4, and then 2. And then it says, when the heroes deploy, we put an AI objective in their deployment area. I'm not sure how good this is showing up, but I got a unit of spears here, a unit of spear goblins here, and a unit of shooter goblins back here. Let's go ahead and roll to see where our heroes come in. They come in number 3, which is this corner down here. All right, so our heroes are on the board. Guess just Yeah, I guess this means we start. Turn number 1. So at the beginning of turn number 1, we've got some spear guys over here. So what we are going to do is we're going to have our paladin, could make it all the way to there, but he's going to just go to here. We're going to have our fighter book it this direction. Cleric is just going to go back up the paladin. And then our wizard will go there. That's going to be the end of the hero turn. So let's go over here to our first unit of enemy AI, our Goblin Spearmen. Let's go down the AI activation chart. Are any enemies in line of sight? We're going to say they can see them through the difficult terrain here. Yes, go to step number 2. If you move, will any enemy be in range to shoot or charge? Well, because of that difficult terrain, yeah, we're going to be able to make it. So yes, advance only as much as needed and shoot closest, else charge closest. So yeah, we are within 12, so boop-a-doop. These guys are going to have to stay out of difficult terrain. There we go, we got the charge off. So our 3 little spear-wielding goblins, they have 1 attack apiece, and they're going to hit on a 5. Nothing. Our paladin, with his heavy great weapon, has 3 attacks. He's going to hit on a 6, which is his quality. Oh, good God. Okay. I guess my dice like me today. Save of a 6 on the goblins. Oh, one of them does save. So that means these 2 get hammered into the ground, and they are little greasy spots. Time for morale for our 1 little gnome right there. So that 1 lone goblin has a quality of 5. He's going to be shaken. So little dude backs up an inch. He's going to get a shaken token. Next, we're going to do the unit of shooters back here. Now, they, going down the AI chart, they do not have line of sight to anybody over there. So what they're going to do is they are just going to rush as fast as they can towards the AI objective, which is in the hero's deployment zone. They're going to go 12 and end up there. Same thing with this unit of goblins over here with the spears. They are unable to see our heroes hiding in the corner over there just because of this lip. So they're going to rush 12 inches towards that AI objective, which will put them there, right square in the face of our heroes. So that's going to be something that definitely happens next turn. So what we do now, something called an alertness roll. Let me pop it on the screen and then I'll read it out for us to tell you what we're going to do. At the end of each round, roll 1 die. On a 6, increase alertness by 2, else by 1. So that means if you roll a 6, it goes up by 2. Anything else, it just goes up by 1. Once you reach 6 times X alertness, where X is the chosen difficulty level, deploy a new wave of reinforcements and remove all alertness. So we're only difficulty 1, so once we get to 6 alertness, we bring in a new wave. So let's go ahead and roll that dice. We get a 1, so alertness is now 1. So starting off on round number 2, we are going to go ahead and move the paladin right back in there with that goblin / gnome. So he has 3 attacks, but he's still only quality 3. So I'm assuming the heroes just flat out suck on your first mission, but they will get better. So let's see if he hits. And he gets 1 hit. So saving for the little gnome, he's going to fail. So that means our little buddy here, he is gone. And a shaken token. So now in this, there is no like 3-inch overrun. So he's pretty much stuck there, which is kind of in the way of the cleric if she wants to go this direction. But we're here for this fight. So the fighter is going to charge into those gnomes there. Now we're going to do something cool here. He has an ability called Combat Superiority, which means if he gets any hits, he'll get 1 additional hit, but he needs to pass a strength test for it, and his strength is a 4. And he doesn't pass it. Oh well. He has a heavy hand weapon, 3 attacks, AP 1, but he's a little bit better than our paladin. He hits on a 5. We got 1 hit. And at AP 1, the goblin still saves on a 6. So that's going to be 1 dead goblin. Now the goblins get to pile in, and it's their turn to attack. So just like the other group, we got 2 attacks on a 5. 1 hit. Our fighter does have +1 defense because he bought a piece of armor. So he saves on a 5, and he saves. So the goblins lost combat. Morale time. They're going to pass. So they're just going back up an inch. And then our abbess, our wizard, who is now going to be up to 2 caster points, she's just going to go ahead and charge into combat because she's pretty good in melee as well. So boom. So Abby the abbess has 3 attacks with a flail, but she is also furious. So any 6s, she gets an extra hit. and she only hits on 6s. So we end up with 2 hits. AP2, which doesn't really matter against the goblins. They're going to lose 1. And now it's their turn to fight back. So our little goblin is fatigued, only hits on a 6. He's going to fail. So morale test for that goblin. And now he is stunned as well. So she's going to back up an inch and drop the stunned marker. And our cleric, instead of going through this little gap here, she is going to take off to the middle. So Goblin's turn now. This guy is going to hold and unshake. And then our unit of shooters over there still can't see anybody, so they're just going to run towards the AI objective. I like that. So now, next turn, they're going to be able to see somebody, but the paladin can probably just charge into them. We'll see. And for alertness, it's going to be alertness 2. I mean, why move the camera? He's definitely in range to charge. Does he have anything cool? Nothing that's really going to help him right now. So he is just going to charge right in there. So we got Frank, our tank, paladin going in. 3 attacks on a 6. He's got 1. Saving on a 6. Oh, the goblin saves. So these shooters just have hand weapons. So 3 attacks, hitting on a 5, 1 hit. And then Frank saves on a 6. So he's going to take a wound, which also means that Frank loses combat. So he's got to pass morale on a 6. Oh, Lord, he passes. So Frank here backs up an inch, and then he is going to be down to 10 wounds left. Over here, we're going to have the Abbess go in first. We got 3 attacks looking for a 6 with Furious. So we got 1 6, which means we're going to have 2 hits. And the little guy saves on a 6. Oh, almost. Boom. So our fighter, who didn't fight, is going to take off towards the delivery objective. And then our cleric is not going to be in range to charge. So she is just going to go 6 to there. And she is carrying a thrown weapon with a 12-inch range, so she's going to throw it here at the gnomes. Her thrown weapon has 2 attacks, hitting on a 6 for nothing. So now we are over to the gnomes' turn, and all we got left on the board are these shooters. So they are just going to go ahead and shoot into Mr. Paladin. 3 short bow shots hitting on a 5. And they all miss. So that brings us to the end of the round. Time to check alert levels. That's still only 1, so we are at alert level 3. So I just reread the mission to figure out how to score the primary. It turns out that someone in the party was supposed to pick up the AI objective. And I had to read this thing 3 or 4 times to figure that out. You had to get the AI objective to the delivery marker. So, in order to pick that up, you had to pass a strength and a will check. Okay, because I flubbed this and we're already going into turn number 4, I'm going to say that the fighter is carrying the AI objective. So we're just going to tuck it right in under his base. Would that have made a big difference in the game? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. So we're going to start over here with this fun stuff. Our paladin is just going to charge right back in. So our paladin, once again, 3 attacks, hitting on a 6. He's got nothing. Time for the shooters to pile in. 3 attacks, hitting on a 5. Ooh, we got 2 hits. Paladin saves on a 6. He fails them both. Morale test for the paladin. He's going to pass again. So he is getting beat up, but no one is going to break his spirit. So then we got Mary back here. She's going to charge in with her dual hand weapons. So Mary, with her dual hand weapons, has 4 attacks that are going to hit on a 6. As I missed the bucket. And she misses all 4. So our gnome shooters are going to fight back, looking for a 6. And they miss everything too. Oh, we could take out spear guys, but for some reason, these little dudes with bows are a lot better in close combat. So Abby down here, she's going to be at 4 caster points, and she is just going to take off running towards the fighter. And then our fighter trying to get to the delivery objective is, yep, he's going to be able to get within an inch. So he gets that. And then our heroes score 1 of those delivery points. So they got 1 more all the way down there. You can't see it. It's behind that bush right there. Back over to our gnome goblins. They're just going to shoot into that paladin again. 3 shots looking for a 5. We got 2 hits. Saving on a 6. He's going to take 1 wound. Big guy, I think you might start having problems here. So time for an alertness check. We are on alertness number 4. So our paladin is going to use one skill. He's going to use the protector skill, giving himself +1 defense, and then he is going to charge into those rascally gnomes. 3 attacks on a 6. Oh, come on, Frank, you suck. Goblins are going to fight back. They're able to pull off 1 hit. Frank's save is now 5. And he still fails. Come on, Frank. Morale test. He fails that because his quality is only 6. But he is fearless. He passes the fearless part. Frank. Come on, buddy. So Mary, back there, our cleric, she is going to attempt to use Healing Ward, which means she needs to take a will save, or will check, to give Frank back 1 wound. It would be 2 heroes within 6 get 1 wound back, but Frank's the only person that's wounded. So she needs a 4 up, and it doesn't go off. Uh-oh. Well, she is going to charge into those gnomes. Hitting on a 6. Hey, we got 1 hit. The gnome saves on a 6. And it fails. So one of the little buggers finally gets picked off. The gnomes fight back. They are fatigued, and they're going to miss completely. So Mary won combat, and those gnomes are going to be stunned. So she backs up. They would be stunned, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take their turn now because nobody is going to be able to interact with them. They're just going to hold and unstun. So then on this flank, these two are going to take off towards the next delivery objective. And they're going to end up there. They're just full out running towards that objective, and Abby, our abbess, is going to be up to 5 spell points. So the gnomes already went. Let's check alert level. If we get a 6 here, that's a new wave. And we don't. So it's going to be alertness level 5. They are going to come in at the end of next turn. So at the beginning of this turn, Mary is going to again try her healing ward on Frank. So she needs a 4 up. And she fails again. Man, at level 1, everybody sucks at everything. So sorry, Frank, no love for you. But Mary just charges right back in. So 4 attacks, looking for 6. We got 1. Say we got a 6. They're going to fail. So that was enough for 1 little kneecapper. So he fights back 1 attack on a 5. And it misses. So the goblin / gnome needs a morale test. And it fails, meaning that it is stunned. So Mary moves back. This guy's stunned, and that means that Frank can do something cool here. He's going to charge in with his whole 6 wounds remaining, and he is going to use Vengeful Strike. So what Vengeful Strike is, he gets +1 to hit against units that are shaken, but it is a strength test, and his strength is a 5 up. And he fails. Oh well, 3 attacks on a 6. And he misses. So a little goblin attacking back on a 6. And it misses. So Frank has got to move back. Unfortunately, Frank, I think your glory days are behind you back in turn number 1. So over here, before movement happens, Abby is going to blow some spell points. She is going to cast Shock Speed on both herself and John, our fighter. So she is currently at the maximum she can hold, which is 6. Shock Speed is strength of 3. She's going to go ahead and put 2 more points into it. So she's going to use 5 points to make sure it goes off on a 2. So it does. What that means is that the next time either of these 2 characters charge into combat, they get +2 to hit. And then they're going to take off running to there. And our objective is all the way over in that corner. And then the only thing this last lone goblin shooter gets to do is hold to stop being pinned. So automatically alertness level goes up to 6, so which means our frog cavalry has been alerted. And what we do here is we roll again in the same table quarters randomly to see where they come up in. So we got this group of 3 here. They're going to come in number 2. And this group here are going to come in number 1. So what that's done is over there in table quarter 1, we got that group with those guys close. And then almost in a worst case scenario, we've got this unit that came in right in front of Abby and John. So back over to this mess first. Mary's going to charge in. First thing she is going to do is try Healing Ward again for a 4 up. And she fails for the 3rd time. I think Frank is starting to give her the side eye, wondering if she's really a cleric. Now it's her turn to attack. 4 attacks, hitting on a 6. Oh, we got 2 hits. Saving on a 6. That's going to be just enough. And as she takes out that last shooter, she's going to look at Frank and wonder if he's really a paladin. And seeing that new threat over there in that table quarter, Frank is going to move to the edge of the terrain there. So over here with our fighter, he is just in range. So you know what? He's going to Leroy Jenkins it right into that group of frogs. So John is going to go all out. He's going to use his fighter ability, his once per game fighter ability called Fighting Might, which means that he gets one extra hit in case he gets any hits at all. So he's going to go ahead and swing with his heavy hand weapon. His quality was a 5, so he only got 1 hit, but because of Fighting Might, he gets 2. Beast Riders save on a 5, but his heavy hand weapon is AP 1, so they save on a 6. John is able to take out 1 of the frogs. Ribbit. I just realized that I forgot he had that spell cast on him, so those 2 4s would have hit. So we're going to do 2 more saves on the frogs on a 6. And that's going to be enough. And that's what happens when the war boss doesn't make markers. I forget stuff. So John on his own cleared the path. And Abby's going to be running up behind him as support. So now it is this frog unit's turn. And is anyone in line of sight? Nope, they're all behind hedges. So what they're going to do is they're going to go as fast as possible towards the AI objective, which John is holding over there. But they do have a special rule. Their special rule is called boing. Pretty much they get an extra D3 inches of movement. It's going to be 1. So they get to go 13 inches. Which means they're going to end up over here, which is closer. So at the end of the turn, let's check alertness. We might get a 3rd wave. No, it's only going to go up to 1. So over here on this turn, John is going to come here and grab this. And now we're going to look at secondary missions. All right, so we're on the secondary mission page, but there is something I seem to have forgotten, which are search tokens. This is what happens when I get too excited. So I have to roll a D3 plus 2 search tokens. So we're going to have 4. On a 1 to 3, it will be placed in a table quarter, whilst on a 4 to 6, it will be placed in a table quarter. Quarter versus corner. Okay, got it. Okay, I can read. Yeah. My English is not too good. I'm from the South, man. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these. We're going to grab 4 dice. All right, sorry, this is going to be raw footage. So we've got 2 in a corner and 2 in a quarter. Okay, so the quarters are going to be 2 and 6. I'm just going to re-roll that. 6, 3. Okay, so 2 and 3 for the quarters. And then the corners are going to be 4 and 3. All right, be right back. All right, so we got 1 over here where everyone pretty much started, and 1 there, 1 over there, and then 1 there. We're going to say that, hey, your sensors just pinged. You have stuff to search now. Let's look at secondaries. All right, so let's go ahead and roll to see what our secondary is. It's going to be number 4, which I'm going to put on the screen. Place 1 objective marker within 6 inches of the table quarter furthest from 1 random hero, which counts as the AI goal. Heroes may use a skill action within 1 inch of the marker, and if they pass a will test, the marker is removed and the objective is completed. Okay, so 1 random hero, which counts as the AI goal. John already is the AI goal. He is currently all the way over there, so we're going to say the secondary mission goal is right there. So back to the actual play. So John's already done with his mission. Let's go ahead and do Abby. She is going to take off running towards that search objective, and she's going to be not quite close enough to mess with it. And over here on this table side, we're going to have Frank. He's going to go 12 here. And Abby, no, it's not Abby, and Mary is going to go 12 to snake her way back there, which you can't see on camera. So, okay, we got Mary and Frank. Time for these guys here that are very pissed off at John. They're going to go an extra 2 inches. So that means they're going to be able to go 14. I don't know, John. They're getting awful close. All right, so I did a little bit more reading. Now that, an orc has learned how to read. Whenever you go from the primary to the secondary mission, alertness automatically goes up by 3 times the level of the game, which we are level 1. So that means that alertness is at 4 right now, and it goes up to 5. So first hero action, John sees there is trouble coming around the corner, so he is going to book it to there. And then Abby over here Let's figure out what that is. All right, so we roll randomly on the search token table, and we get a 5. That's going to be an alchemist box. And the alchemist box contains a curing potion. All right, so Abby is now the proud owner of a curing potion. Next over here we got Frank. Frank is going to go over here. All right, Frank, what do you got? A 6. It's gold. He comes away with 10 gold. There you go, Frank. Maybe you can buy yourself something nice. And then Mary over here. Let's see what she gets. Got a 4, which is a hidden trove. What is in that hidden trove? It is a blinding bomb. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what that does later. So with that, that's going to be the end of our hero's activation. Now let's boing our frogs 1 inch. So we're going to be able to go 13, which is, just short. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. So our alertness level automatically goes up to 6 because it has to go up by 1, and we're already at 5. And God, these look so little on the screen. Okay, so we got our 3 groups. We're going to do the foot troops again. 2, 2, and 2. Uh-oh. John, you're in trouble, buddy. Here they come. So with where John is, he can't fit through this to get away through there. So this is going to have to be cleared. And if he stops to fight them, he's got that to deal with. So it's going to come down to Abby. So what Abby is going to do, she has 3 spell power this turn. She's going to use her once per game focus, her wizard focus. So she's going to get an extra spell token. And then she is going to take D3 stress. She's going to take 2 stress for Arcana for a +1 to her spell casting. And then she's going to call in Storm. She's going to group the Thunderheads together. Storm is a level 3 power and it hits 2 enemy units within 12 twice. Unfortunately, the little gnomes are farther than 12 inches away. So for cinematic effect, I'm going to say if this goes off, she's going to hit the frogs twice. So she's going to put 4 spell power into it, making her need a 3. And then with her Arcana, she needs a 2. And proceeds to roll a 1. Oh no! At the cusp of greatness, she trips. So what she's going to do is she's going to charge into the frogs. So Abby still has her +2 to hit on her. So she's going to be hitting on a 4 with a flail for 3 attacks with Furious on a 6. And completely whiff. Our frogs have lance attacks and jaws to attack. So the white are going to be the lances and the blacks are going to be the jaws. The jaws are rending. Hitting on a 5. So the rending doesn't really matter because Abby only has a save of a 6 for 3 hits. And we got nothing. So Abby takes 3 wounds. And she's going to need to take a morale test. It fails. So she's stunned. So Abby backs up. And because she has failed absolutely everything this turn, she's down to 6 wounds. And then she is going to use more stress points to not be stunned. Because her being this far away from everybody else is not a good thing. Okay, so I had to dig through everything to find out what stress does. I just knew you could do it. I didn't know what it does. So once you go over the endurance value of a character with the stress level, they take wounds instead. So Abby's endurance is 3. Doing all the stuff she did, she's now at stress 5. So what she's going to do is she's going to have to take 2 wounds, taking her down to 4. But she's not stressed. She's still in the fight. And then we got John over here. He's got no other option. He's charging right in. So John's going to try to use combat superiority, doing the extra hit. What he needs to do is make strength tests. And he passes. All right. So 3 attacks hitting on a 4. So he's going to have 1 hit, which with the extra hit turns into 2. He is AP1 with his attack, so the frogs save on a 6. He only kills 1. Ribbit. So the frogs are going to attack back looking for a 6. We got 2 hits. One of them is rending. That rending does matter because John has a 5-up save. And he fails them both. So John loses combat morale test, and he fails. But he is fearless. And he still fails. So John is going to be down to 8 wounds, and we're going to use this here. He's going to go ahead and take 2 stress to not be stunned. And I'm going to use those little yellow markers for the stress markers. So over here, Frank's going to take off that direction into that mess over there. And then Mary, she's going to try to complete the secondary objective. So Mary needs to pass a will test on a 4. And she doesn't. So it's going to be sitting for another turn. So I am running out of time here. The garage is getting dark outside. I didn't know how long it was going to take. So I'm going to speed this up. So we got one heck of a mess. I sped it up. We're going to go ahead and do the combat between both of the spearmen and the frogs. And then after that, we're going to see what's left over for these guys to shoot at. We might run out of heroes on this side. First, we're going to start off with the frogs. Hitting on a 6. We got 1 hit with a rend. Saving on a 6. John takes 1. John fights back the frogs. Hitting on a 6. He's got nothing. Morale test. Passed. Spears 1. They got nothing. John fights back. He's got nothing. Spears 2. They had 1 hit. Saving on a 5. John takes another. John fighting back. Nothing. Morale test. Passed. Then we got the shooters. They're going to fire John. 1 hit. Saving on a 5. Fail. Morale test. Fail. Fearless. Passed. So after all that, he takes 3 wounds. He is down to 5. He did not get stunned, though. We're going to skip alert levels because I'm going to say there's going to be no more waves after this. Abby's just going to sit there and kind of contemplate her belly button to get rid of all that stress. John is going to continue to haul butt this direction. Mary's going to try again here. She needs a 4. And she does. So that means the marker is removed and the secondary mission is completed. And then John over here is just going to be fighting for his life. He's going to go right into those frogs. First thing he's going to try to do is the fighting might. I'm in the combat superiority. And he does not. So 3 attacks on a 5. He's got nothing. Frogs attack back on a 5. We got 1 rend and 1 regular hit. So the rend on a 6, regular hit on a 5. He's going to take 2 wounds. Does John pass his morale? He fails, but he is fearless. So Johnny Boy here is going to go down to 3, and then we're going to do this whole scrum over again. Let's do some groups of stuff. So the frogs on a 6. We got 1 rending hit. Saving on a 6. Fails. And then we got all the little goblins on a 5. Nothing. John attacks back the frogs. 1 hit. They're going to fail. And then all of his attacks into the 2 squads of goblins. We got 2 hits. 2 saves on a 6. They fail them both. We're going to say 1 from each. They're both going to fail their morale test. So he's fighting for his life. He had frogs attack. Did 1. He attacked. Did 1. Did not take a morale test. All the gnomes missed. Did 1 to each. They both failed their morale test on the attack back. Now we got these little guys. 3 shots out of 5. And they hit with nothing. So over there, Barry's coming. Then we got Frank and Abby. Abby's going to charge here. Frank is going to charge here. Abby's going to throw 2 points into thunder on that lone frog. And it fails to go off. So she's going to attack that lone frog. Hitting on a 6. Nothing. Frog attacks back. Nothing. Frank's attacking some gnomes. Nothing. They attack back. Nothing. John's going to attack the frog. 2 hits. With AP 1, that means that 1 frog is dead. Slowly. Oh, so slowly. So these 2 are going to unshake. So all we got left is the shooters. They're going to fire John with his 2 wounds and 2 stress remaining. 3 shots on a 5. Nothing. Mary's still coming. No, over here. I never knew I could get so hyped for a game where nothing is happening. So, ha. There we go. Abby. 1 hit. With Furious, it turns into 2. 2 dead gnomes. Then Frank. Nothing. And John. 1 hit. And it's a dead gnome. The attack back on Frank, I forgot. 2 whiffs. And John, that's a miss as well. Wait, no, that's a hit because we're starting another turn and he fails his armor save. So no morale needed there. So there's one gnome, and John has one moon left. Time for their attacks. The shooters are going to go first into John. And this whole time I forgot spears are a thing with counter, but, you know, whatever. Ah! 2 more shots. 1 hit. John, you save on a 5. Oh, he saves. Mary's still coming. Over here. John's going to deal with that. Frank's going to go over here. And the heck with it, Abby is too. John's attacks on the goblin. Whiff. Uh-oh. Goblin's attacking back. Whiff. Abby and Frank. Frank's going to be black. Frank got 1 hit. And that's a dead shooter. The shooter's going to fight back. 1 hit on Frank. Because they would have fought back twice, so I rolled 2 different types of dice. And Frank fails his armor save. That's that fight. Then over here, Frank goes down to 5. Where's the 5? I don't know why I'm getting so hyped. And over here, lose 1 shooter. And then we do it all again. Shooters at Abby. They're going to shoot, and they're going to miss. And then the goblin on John misses. Then John attacks back. 1 hit. And he smashes that little goblin. Oh, John has unencumbered himself. So, Mary, she gonna be like here. John, smash. Everybody, those 2. All of our heroes. Oh, Lord. With Abby's Furious, we got 5 hits. And those are some dead goblins. Smash, smash. In just enough time for Mary to come over here. And everyone is within 6 inches. Well, they will be within 6 inches of the corner. Get over here, you doofuses. And that's going to be the end of their first mission. So that is the end of that. Now, I've gone ahead and given out experience points and some equipment. Let's check out Frank. He went up to level 2, and because Frank is our paladin / tank, he got +1 toughness. And with the gold he picked up, he bought himself some light armor, so now he is defense of 5. John, our fighter, what he ended up doing is he actually bought the dual heavy hand weapons that his model is equipped with, so now he has 4 attacks, and also picked up another toughness. For Mary, what we did with her, she picked up a couple gold from finishing the mission, and with that we bought the Judge upgrade, which gives her Harsh Master, and picked up another skill instead of a toughness. She picked up a Resurrect. So if one of the other heroes goes down, she has a chance to pick him up and give him D3 +1 wounds. And Abby didn't have any gold to start off with, so for the mission she got 5 gold. And she picked up Abjuration, so she has the ability to heal herself D3 +1, but causes 1 stress to herself. So that is the end of the first mission that I have ever played of Age of Fantasy Quest. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I skipped over a whole lot of rules. I know we got a lot of things wrong, but everybody will the first time they're going out to play one of these games. But I had a whole lot of fun playing this game type. So that's going to do it for me. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I hope one day I see you across the table and we can roll some dice together. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.